Hey everybody, Mac here for OCR Kings, and we're super excited to have some guests here on the podcast to discuss a special announcement from USAOCR National Championships. Well, thanks for joining everybody. Today we're talking about now correct me if I'm wrong, the Adaptive Para Athlete Competitive National Championship. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So this is the first of its kind, right? Is this the inaugural event?
It is, yes.
Excellent. All right, and this is going to be when? Down in October 12th and 13th in Dalton, Georgia?
It is.
Excellent.
Absolutely.
Is that where you guys are connecting from?
I'm just north of Dalton.
Okay.
And I'm in Washington, D.C.
All right. Excellent.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I mentioned this earlier. You guys are going to lead the conversation. We're here to raise awareness for this event.
Absolutely.
Sounds fantastic. There are no wrong answers and any flubs or, we'll edit around that. Okay. And we have a hard stop at 12:30, so we'll just kind of jump in and get right to it. Before we talk about the event, like how did you get started in OCR? Like what is your background as far as obstacle course racing goes?
I'll let Julie start and then I'll go after.
Okay.
So mine was an interesting start with a very interesting current update. I found myself going through a divorce at 36 and thought, well, I better join a gym. And so I joined a gym and they were all doing a Spartan race and they got me to sign up for it. And I did. And I went home and I Googled it and I called them crying, like, I can't do this.
Oh,
I cried at the start line, literally, of a sprint. I was terrified. Finished it. It was freezing rain. It was in December. And finished it and was like, where do I sign up? Like, I'm doing this again. Found a gym that could teach, couldn't even climb a rope. So found a gym that had a rope climb, found a trainer, and then the trainer and I started a team, and that team grew to 400 or 500 people. And we were taking hundreds of people to different races. And then has a master carpenter background. I have a marketing and event management background. And it just kind of worked out where we started when smaller races started kind of fizzing out, we started buying the smaller races. And now that trainer is my husband as of 2 months.
oh, congratulations.
Yay!
So that's kind of where, we've between the two of us, our first year, I mean, we ran over 100 races. We've ran every brand I can think of, every distance from sprint to ultras, all over the country. And we just, fell in love with the sport. So wanted to save some of the smaller races that were going out of business. So that's how our brand was born.
That's
Excellent.
awesome.
That is awesome. Alex, how about yourself?
Yeah, so I made a bet with my twin. So I was training for a half marathon, and needed a running buddy,
Okay.
because I'm a person with dwarfism, so I'm only about 4'3", 4'4", and so training for that, and so I wanted a buddy to run with me because most folks won't or they're not same speed as I am, or 2 to 3 steps of mine equal one of an average person. And so I was like, and she was like, well, I'll train and do the half marathon with you if you do a Tough Mudder race with me. And I said, all right, deal. And so that's how we got into it. So she did the half marathon. We did it in Oklahoma City. And then I joined Tough Mudders. And it's kind of interesting because we kind of swapped now. Now I'm involved in OCR and she's full on running. Now she's running marathons. But that's the passion. That's how I started. She did was in getting her master's and read a case study on Tough Mudders and thought, hey, man, I'm interested in this and I want to try this out and do it. And then fell in love with the community, fell in love with the sport and the people. And so that's where she got me convinced. And I was like, let's do it. And we're both doing it today. And so that's how we got into OCR. And we've loved every minute of it. And again, I keep saying the people are phenomenal. It's just such a wonderful community. And you meet somebody every single time, and then you're like, now I got another connection in this state. So if I go in to do this race, I can connect with them. So it's really fun. But that's how I got into it, into
Excellent.
OCR. Yeah.
I totally agree with you. You've said something that I've thought many, many times and feel in my heart. It's a community. It really is. And the connections that you make at these races, you start to see familiar faces, and you can
Yes,
trade like war stories or training programs and all of
that's
these
right.
things. It's really, really cool. All right. So are
Yeah.
you both on the committee for the USA OCR National Championships? Is that
So
my
I lead the para side of the USA OCR and met Julie because we partnered with her to do the event. So that's how I met Julie along the way. And she's partnered with USA OCR, which has been fantastic. And we're excited that we've been able to partner together.
That is amazing. So I'm looking at the website right now. What are the distances that the the para athletes could participate in? Is it 3K, 15K? What are the distances?
Yeah, so we have a 3K competitive event and then on Saturday, and then a 15K non-competitive event. And then also too, for those that are not a para athlete, but they want to participate in USA OCR, we do have some for elites and age groups, some stuff going on Saturday and Sunday too for the 3K and the 15K. And then Julie's got some stuff going on too, and I'll let her jump in here too, so she could talk about those because those are exciting events too.
Please.
They are. We are super excited about this. Of course, like Alex mentioned, we're going to have the 3K Saturday morning for elite age group and para-competitive. Then Saturday afternoon, we have our local 5K fun run. We'll have a competitive and an open, but that is the race we started with. It's Scenic City run, and so we've kind of brought it in to combine it with this weekend so that the public can see all these para athletes out here running, and then the elite athletes, because when all of us get started, we look up to these elites and we're just like, oh my gosh, I'll never forget
Yes.
the first time I met the first elite female racer. I was like, just starstruck. You thought I
Yeah,
met a movie star. But
it is.
and then Sunday we'll have the 15K for elite age group and then the open para heat. So it's going to be a jam-packed weekend full of excitement in this beautiful, pristine Civil War Park, actually, that has a mountain in the middle of it, and it's just gonna be great.
Amazing. And as far as the para athletes, are there limitations or is it all inclusive? Is it for any or all abilities? How does that work?
So on the competitive side, on the competitive side, there's 6 categories, and if you
Hmm.
go on to USAOCR.org or PhoenixRaceOCR.org, they're both listed. The categories are listed with the description of what they are, and so you'll select the category that you feel best fits. There's additional documentation that we will request, and you fill that out. We A-OK it and say, yep, that's the category that you're in. And so that will place you in there. And then the 15K is, hey, I'm going to go on Sunday. I'm going to go out and give it a go and see what the experience is all like and check it out and see who else is out there participating. So, yeah, but it is on both the websites where you can get additional information. So the first category, P1 addresses athletes, adaptive athletes in wheelchair that are self-propelled. 2 and 3 two speaks to limitations, whether it's upper or lower extremities. And then 3 and 4 address amputation. 5 is in regards to blind, visual impaired athletes. And then 6 is a new one that we just added. Keeping in mind, categories 1 through 5 are recognized at USAOCR, but it's also recognized at the world obstacle level, those categories. 6 is a new category that USAOCR added because we were missing a class of folks and we wanted them to get involved. And so how could we do that? And so through this category, it mentions again all the different abilities of those athletes, and then talks about guides to assist through them, compete with them through their program. And that way too, that one is not, that is only applicable to USAOCR sanctioned events. That is not at the world obstacle level, because this is a new one that we have added to our sanctioned events to give it a go. But again, kind of we stepped back and we noticed we are missing a group of athletes, para-adaptive athletes, and we really wanted to understand what that group was, and then how do we bring that in from a competitive aspect.
That is amazing. It's really well thought out. I'm looking at that list that you just described right here on the website. We're going to provide links to all of these things
Great.
in the
Thank
description
you.
below this video. So, seems like a lot of work. You guys have done your due diligence. You guys must be exhausted, I would assume. Um, how has this process been for you? And this has to be a passion, I would assume, labor of love, but it's got to have been pretty labor intensive. How has this whole thing been for you guys?
I don't think the work has quite the bulk of the work has quite started for me yet. It has been a large undertaking for everybody involved.
Yeah.
But I'm the race director. My husband is the course designer. So we've met with our adaptive athlete services coordinator at the course and walked him through it, and so that he will know, if we have to have alternate routes for one of the categories, that kind of thing. Um, but that's going to be the heavy lift on our end is the next 2 months of build. I should also mention that we are thrilled to be hosting 10 other race brands. So this is not going to
Yes.
be show up and boom, you're at a Phoenix race. It is Phoenix and friends. We have Bear Crawl OCR coming, Warrior Tech OCR coming. We have Savage Race, Mythic Race, the Emerald Coast Mud Run. There's so many others I can't mention off the top of my head right now, but Jason would know who those are because he's working with everybody and on what they're bringing. But it's just going to be such a great representation of OCR across the nation, not just a Phoenix race. We're really excited about that.
That's good. Not I would like to see OCR thrive. We've
Absolutely.
we've witnessed some, familiar brands go away, especially in 2024. What's your feeling on that? Like, what do you think as far as the state of health of OCR currently?
I can speak to that as a brand owner. I mean, obviously, you have to scale your year to what the industry will support. And we went from having 7 events in one year to 5 events, then 3 events. So, you have to scale to what fits for your brand in order to stay afloat. If you're not getting your 2,000 people or whatever it is your goal is at each of your events, scale back and build back. That's kind of been
That's
our
right.
strategy
Yeah.
is, instead of hosting an event like this costs tens of thousands of dollars to host. So if you don't have the participation, you can quickly be in the hole. So
Right.
as a business owner and a brand owner, I mean, we've just kind of scaled back a little bit. And we've also done some other creative things. We've partnered with other brands, we share obstacles with other brands.
Smart.
We have a decent trussing setup that we allow some of the other brands to borrow that, there may be a one-time charity race or once a year charity race. They're not going to buy $50,000 worth of trussing.
Right.
So, we'll loan that out. So, just building back the camaraderie in the community and pulling new people into the sport is going to help. I feel like from
Great.
a owner standpoint.
That's a great point. So if there's another, say, charity event or a smaller group and they're looking to maybe contact you to rent, borrow, abscond with equipment, how does somebody get a hold of you to do that?
They can email me at director@phoenixraceocr.com.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably the easiest way to get in touch with me.
Excellent. All right. We'll put a link to that down in the description below as well. I heard World Obstacle mentioned. Now, is this also the group that's going to be involved with the Olympics in 28 that's going to have OCR?
That's right. That is
Excellent.
correct. Yep.
Do
And
you
and
do you think there will be a like a Paralympic extension of the OCR event for the Paralympic Games that I would hope follow the Olympics? Where
uh,
I
the,
asked, sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I think long term, right? That's always the goal long term, right?
Okay.
Like to get that there. And so that's why I've gotten involved and want to be involved in continuation of OCR, right? It's just such a wonderful sport. and how can we get that to grow, and how and from a competitive aspect to help push it in that direction, right? And so that's always a goal. And so that's what we're hoping for eventually. Yeah, it's going to take some time. And if folks want to volunteer, we'll take them. Please, volunteers. And get involved with the community, right? To keep that brand going, to keep OCR going, right? We not only need competitive folks, but we need volunteers too.
Absolutely.
So
If somebody wants to volunteer, can they sign up via one of the sites?
yes.
Okay, excellent. And again, links below in the description. Everybody check it out and get on board. I asked about the Paralympics games because to my knowledge right now in Paris, between August 28th and September 8th, I believe, those
correct.
are occurring.
They are absolutely. And what I love about the Paralympics going on right now is like I call it the new theme, the new motto. I am not participating, I am competing. I love that. You're hearing a lot of those
Right.
athletes saying that, and I think it's fantastic. And so I'm sharing that, especially as we have an event coming up that's so close, right around the corner. So from USAOCR's aspect, yeah.
That's amazing. Now, prior to that, that was the verbiage. I am participating. I mean, these are athletes, so
Yeah,
athletes
that's right.
compete. So, okay,
Yeah, so they're saying I am not participating, I am competing.
that's important. That's an
Yeah,
important message.
yeah, yeah. That's what
Excellent.
the Paralympics folks are saying. So
And the
So,
important,
I'm
I'm
sorry,
sorry.
please, after you.
I think the important thing to drill home on that is prior to this event, para athletes have been involved in OCR. You see them all the time with
that's
the
right.
different groups. We started our brand as an all-inclusive brand because I have a father who's an amputee and a special needs child. So, we started our brand with the adaptive athlete at the heart of it to make sure that we could, and it's silly us, we had no idea what we were doing. The first race we did, we had an adaptive side and a able-bodied side. And after the race, they were like, "No, we don't want that. We want to do the same thing everybody does." I'm like, "Okay, I'm sorry."
Right on.
We tried to make it to where you could propel your wheelchair over it, that kind of thing. But we learned real quick, like that was not what they wanted. But to drill home to that, they have been participating. Para and adaptive athletes have
That's
been
right.
participating.
Sure.
My son has participated in a number of events and a number of different brands. They've not competed.
Yeah,
And to give them that ability to stand on a podium, it gives me cold chills
Yeah, it's
to
giving me
be able to.
I'm getting the goosebumps. They're
Yeah,
going down my neck. That's really
and,
yeah.
special.
and that's why this like I love this partnership with Julie because of her passion from that side too, and our passion from USAOCR. It's like I call it the perfect match. So it's because it's the competitive side. Yeah, we are able to put on a competitive race for the para-adaptive athletes, and it's very, very exciting.
Did you know each other before this coming together, getting this event organized, or did you just how did your relationship? How did you guys meet each other?
So I met Julie through my OCR, USA OCR teammates and connected that way and then learned and we have spoken numerous times as we're working together to put this on and got to learn her passion and how her background and that it was like connection. So it was great.
We all I met her twin when she
Yes,
was
first.
pit crewing
Yes.
at World's Toughest. My husband was running it and I was pit crewing. So, there's some dead time there in the pit crew area. So we all kind of get to know each other. But
You
that's
did.
kind of the first time I got to meet a lot of the USA OCR folks. That's I met Jason there and Diana and so that kind of got it off the ground. And Dan was involved
That's
there.
awesome.
He was in our group. So it that kind of kicked it off a little bit for us all.
Amazing. Now, super important question and sort of a bombshell. Who's the older twin?
I am.
You are by
Yeah.
by how many minutes or
3 minutes, so not too much. Now
okay?
my twin will say I hold those 3 minutes honor.
Of course.
And I would say, yeah, I probably did when I was younger, but now it's my better half, is what I like to say.
Excellent.
Yeah, so
I
it's fun.
asked only because I'm the father of twins, and I know
Oh,
that
there you go.
that's
Very
important.
good.
So,
It is. Yeah,
excellent.
it's
Uh,
it's a
I
great experience. I love it being a twin.
one question. Okay, this is the event's going to be held on like a Civil War battlefield. Is that correct?
So yes,
Everything.
it was the Battle of the Ridge.
Okay.
So the area where the festival will be, and a lot of the flatter areas in up about halfway to the ridge, there's still a stone fort ridge there that you'll run along and see. The top of the mountain is not necessarily a historical property, and you can bet you're going to go to the top of the mountain.
Of course. It's an obstacle course race. Of course, you're going up there.
And this is a Georgia mountain now. I mean, we're not Colorado mountain. This is a
Well,
Georgia mountain.
hey, a mountain's a mountain. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So everything is outdoors, obviously. What happens if there's inclement weather? Like if it's
This is
rainy?
OCR.
It's OCR, everybody
That's
full
right.
steam ahead. Okay, great.
We just
We've
add
had
some more mud.
Yeah,
I mean,
love it.
we've
Love
shown
it.
up to race day at 6 a.m. and our entire course be flooded.
Okay.
And we rerouted,
Okay.
started an hour late and rerouted, adapt and overcome and go.
Excellent. So there might be, if there's a situation that arises, the course is not set in stone. If you have to, you can always modify as needed. That's great. That's great. Sometimes, in other franchises, some that might not longer be in business, they would never reroute and kind of ruin the experience for especially first timers. So very, very good. Any critters or anything we should be looking out for out on the course? What's the wildlife down there in Georgia?
The wildlife in Georgia is gonna be, I mean, the elites will run it all off, so you don't have to worry about that. But
Okay. Let
you
them
know,
pick up the ticks and the snakes and the bees or whatever it might be out there.
yeah,
Cool. Very cool.
we do definitely we run through the course several times with motorized equipment to check
Excellent.
for bees because of the that's very important to me. We were at an event one time and somebody was stung and went into anaphylaxis and had to
Right.
be
Which is no
airlifted.
joke. No.
So we take all of our experiences, good and bad, from all the races that we've attended, and we pour them into our race to make it the best experience possible. Snakes, we do have a couple of venomous species down here, but they don't want to play with us. They want to move on.
Okay. No, that's good. I asked because, I want everybody to know that you take the participant or competitive experience very seriously. That's how you get to build your brand. And it seems like you're taking that into account, not even, beyond safety. It's the experience. You want
Yes,
people to really enjoy and be safe. So
Absolutely.
they not only they have a great experience, but they come back. So are we thinking we're going to have this event again in 25, maybe same location, same dates? Is that a tentative sort of teaser that we could announce to everybody, or we'll
I won't commit to the same dates or the same location,
okay.
but I will commit to the event happening next year.
Excellent. Everybody loves a scoop, so I figured maybe I'd
That's
get some breaking news.
Can't say that I'll be the race director, but I can tell you the event will happen next year.
Okay. Are you guys also going to be out there either participating or competing in either one of the events, able-bodied or the para-athlete side? You guys
I
gonna-
will I will be out there cheering everybody on from and supporting on the USAOCR side. So yeah, I'm super excied.
Excellent.
Everybody always asks me why I don't run my own race. I'm like, I'm the race director.
Yeah, well,
And Jason doesn't get to either because if if there's an injury reported on course, like we're there. I mean, we usually beat EMS there or paramedics there because we want to assess the situation, see what needs to be done. We need to be 100% available for the racer because, as you said, the racer experience is number one to us. We want to minimize the lines. We want to minimize as far as registration and check-in lines. We can't stand obstacle bottlenecks. That was one of the things we couldn't stand. So He's become a master at spreading those obstacles out so that it breaks up the pack. And some of the smaller brands that are bringing things, they may have 3 lanes. Well, you know what? We've got to put that close to the end of the pack where you don't have more than three racers at a time. And then too, all of our competitors will be very, very well marked, and everybody will know that they are competitive. Their first go around, they get first go of the equipment. So we have marshals that'll keep an eye on that. So we want to keep everybody happy, from our elites, our adaptive, our open people that just got off the couch and decided to get muddy. It's all about how they leave feeling, honestly.
Is there going to be a map? Do you guys post a map? How does that work? Or it just when you get to the event, you just discover it as you're going?
Now, how fun would it be for me to post a map? No.
That's right.
We potentially may post a map, but it will be much, much later in the game.
Sure.
Just
Okay. Yeah.
just because we're still working on the schematics and the blueprints of the obstacles that we don't own that are coming, and when they're arriving and that kind of thing, and where they're going. We can think in our head and okay, Mount Fike, I know exactly where it can go. I know how much of a footprint it takes up. This is a very wooded area, so but we can't necessarily do that with the a give and take that Savage is bringing. So we've got to get the schematics on that before we can tell you exactly.
Everybody likes a sneak peek. They want to see what they're in for. I don't know if it's assuring or, they think they have secret information that somebody else doesn't have. So,
Absolutely.
all right. So how do people register? What is the best way to get involved? How do people sign up?
They can go to phoenixraceocr.com or USAOCR.org,
Mhm.
and all the links are there.
Yep.
Get them going. If there's any brands that would like to support, they can reach out to either Alexandra or myself. And we have a full sponsor deck. We would love to get them involved with that. Obviously, building the course is not it's not the cheapest course we've ever built by any means. Building 3 courses, but we're committed. We're definitely committed to the project, and can't wait to see everybody come out and support.
Absolutely.
Outstanding. Well, guys, thank you so much for talking with me today. This is a great
Thanks.
event. Definitely, folks watching, check out the links below. Get involved. Hope to see you guys out there
Hope
in
to see you,
October.
Mac. Yeah.
But everybody, remember, until that time, as always, train hard, have fun.